Here we are. Natty, you lead off.
Well, I'm here with
My name's Tim Quinn.
Tim Quinn from Anchor House.
Yes, well,
Right.
I don't work at Anchor House.
Okay.
I'm a volunteer there.
You're a volunteer at Anchor House. And tell us about your organization.
Okay, sure. I live in Princeton, and in 1992, I went for a bike ride with a colleague. I was then working at the Trenton Times, and they were going. The guys who were on this bike ride were going on this ride called the Anchor House Ride for Runaways, and I had heard about the ride because I working at a newspaper that supported it, and so I expressed a desire to go, and they said, well, why don't you come with us? And a week later, I was in Blacksburg, Virginia, and we were riding back 500 miles to
Jeez Louise.
to Trenton, New Jersey.
How
And
many-
I-
Miles.
How many tires do you got to change when you're done?
Well,
I'm bad at
hopefully-
that. I guess you must
hopefully
get good.
none. Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully you don't flat. But yeah, and so I've done it pretty much every year except for 1997 when my son was born. This coming year will be my 17th year, I think.
Where did you go this year? Where did they go
Ride
last
for
year?
Runaways.
New Jersey,
Last
Hawaii.
year,
Hawaii would be good.
Last year we went
Water
from
biking.
Vermont. From Vermont back to Trenton, and this year we're going from Oswego, New York, on Lake Ontario.
Do you go to hotels at night?
Yeah, luckily.
Do people get up? Do you ever get pissed off when you're riding? And what happens? I mean, you go up hills, down hills, the whole bit.
Yeah, actually, it's quite a rigorous ride. It's about 70 miles a day.
Wow.
Used to be a lot. We used to have these sort of 90-mile sufferfests every day, but now we're in about the 70-mile
Do
range.
you get macho with each other? Like, come on, God, you can push it.
No, hopefully no.
It's
we
not a
have-
race, is
No,
it? So
it's
it's
not.
just
Thankfully, it's not a race.
Like a
Although
Tour de France,
some people do treat it that way. It's the amazing group of people because we have people of all shapes, sizes, ages,
And they can make it? Really?
levels of ability. Yeah, I mean, you'd
You
be
just pedal? You
amazed
just keep pedaling?
at the range of abilities and of interests, and everyone is really kind of united for one reason, and that's to raise money for Anchor House.
Well, why do
for
people
the
run away to
shelter.
Trenton? Oh, it's a shelter.
Yeah, it's
you
a
don't,
shelter
You don't run away
for-
to Trenton, though. Usually San
Actually,
Diego.
some kids
Or San
or New York.
Francisco.
Yeah, San
Actually,
Francisco, right.
There you go.
some kids do. I mean, Anchor House does have regional clientele. They do have kids who, who wind up in Trenton for
Whatever
some
reasons,
reason,
right,
because
okay.
the train stops there, or
Right, right.
because there's gangs there, or for some reason, and they wind up living there. They wind up homeless, living on the street, and Anchor House is, is a place where they can go when they have nowhere else to go. So it's easy to get a group of people united around that kind of an event.
How long did they stay at? What does Anchor House do? I mean, you stay for 21 days, 10 days? What's
It
the process?
depends. It all depends on the length of the stay. And Anchor House last year celebrated its 30th year.
Wow.
And last year was the 30th Ride for Runaways. The first ride was actually four guys who rode from Jacksonville, Florida to Trenton to get some money to start the place.
What happens? Someone pledges money for each mile or something?
Yeah, they used to do that in those days, but now you just get people to pledge a flat amount. It can be $50, it can be $5, it can be
But when
Per
you go to-
mile, or-
what do you see when you go to
$500.
Anchor House? Does
Not per
counseling, does-
mile.
What do you see? Is
Um,
there counseling going on, classes,
Yeah,
beds?
it's pretty much a shelter. It's it's like a triage unit for youth in
Homeless.
crisis.
Oh, yeah.
You have kids who come there for all different reasons, just like we come from all different backgrounds to help them. Some kids severely abused at home.
Often.
Who are victims of unspeakable
Right.
acts
Y-
by
y- right.
people who are supposed to be taking care of them. And, other kids have arguments. There are some kids who have good parents who just their parents can't compete with the street.
Right.
Some
Some kids are bad seeds. Who knows?
They get out there and they get, it's funny too, because you think that kids who show up looking for help at Anchor House are bad kids, but they're really not. They're kids. Most of the kids who go there just have never had a break in life. They've
Really?
never had.
They really have been knocked down at every step.
They've never had a parent who said, you know, I love you, you matter, I care about you. They go to Anchor House and they find people, staff members there who are really motivated to help them. A lot of times kids say, you know, when they've left and have moved on in life, you know, the first time that I ever heard anyone say that they cared about me was when I came here. And so the length of stay, it can range from a few days to 21 days. And it, as I said, it's sort of a triage unit. Kids come in, they drop anchor, which is where, you know, it's not because it was a home for mariners at some point. It's meant because they drop anchor, they get some immediate help for their problems, and then they're referred to a social services agency that hopefully can help them further, either a foster care setting. They'll work with families, Anchor House, to reunite the kids with the families, but in a safe and secure setting, and they'll work with the families as well to get them the sort of help that they need. So it's important work that's done by people who, you know, they're not doing it for a lot of money. You know, just like people who do community television aren't doing it for.
Well, I get paid quite well, but I'm one of the few stars.
Well, I mean, I was had a question sort of about the runaway situation. I mean, a lot of these people are under 18, and does it require the DIFAS places? Then what if a kid, let's say, for some reason they don't get along with their parents, they're 16, and they just run away from home? I mean, can they even do that? I mean, aren't they under?
Sure, they can. And they can wind up at Anchor House, and they can be referred to DIFAS. Anchor House works closely with DIFAS on an individual basis with the kids to get them the help that they need. So, you know, I think each case is different, and I'm not the person to really
you've been inside the building,
that. Oh yeah, I'm in there every month for our meetings, and
no one steals your watch.
A couple times. no, my car's fine in the parking lot, and you know, I see the kids all the time there. Shoot baskets with them sometimes.
Oh, so they
outside.
don't. But being kids who come from a traumatized past, do you have to watch out for fights or anything of that? Really?
Not really. You know, you can get those kinds of personality disputes, but really, a kid who shows up at a shelter,
they want to abide.
They want help.
Okay,
you know,
so they're willing to abide by.
They're looking for a change.
Well, they came to you, right?
You know?
So
yeah,
that's
exactly.
Came to the Anchor House.
That's true.
A tough kid, a gang member, is not going to admit that he needs help. He's going to think that the only support that he needs is coming on the street, is his group of friends on the corner. That's all the help that he needs in the world. A kid who shows up at a place like Anchor House has had some kind of insight to say, you know what, this is crazy. I need some help. And so they knock on the door. Now, Anchor House does a lot of street outreach, drive around in a big van every night looking for kids who are homeless. And they'll say, you know, you want some help, you need a place to go.
A shower, some food.
Anything, you know, some clothes. And if a kid says no, they're not grabbing them by the scruff of the neck and forcing them in the van,
it's voluntary.
you know, because you know what? The sad thing is that there are so few resources for kids in need that they get plenty of business the way it is. I mean, I wish for a day. I tell the people who sponsor me every year, and you know, that I really hope for a day when I don't have to do the bike ride, but, you know, because it'll mean that there aren't any kids who need Anchor House. And, you know, unfortunately, there are kids every day coming in the doors. And, you know, I feel a responsibility to, you know, it's something for me that I love. I mean, I love to ride my bike. And so, you know, it's actually I get to create, contribute to the greater good by doing something that I love, and that's, that's a win-win. And I also get tremendous support at home from my wife and my son, because it's a big commitment time-wise for training and for meetings, and I think that's true of anyone who does
Any kind of
volunteer work. I mean, they're not. Clearly, they don't do it because they don't have a life. They do it because they have a rich life, and because they have a home situation where people believe in what they do.
Right, so the time
and
away.
support
Right.
what they do.
They have to be. It's a lot.
Oh, yeah, and get that back. And it's true of people who do, or who are on the commissions and who volunteer to coach teams and who do all the kind of stuff that no one gets paid for, but that needs to get done. So,
Well, I want to thank you. And what's
Sure.
your website?
Our URL is anchorhouseride.org, and you can go on there and you can sponsor a rider, make a donation, get information about the bike ride. If you're a cyclist and you want to come on the ride, we welcome you. We're all full this year. And we go to Geneva, New York, to Ithaca, New York, to a little town called Owego, and then we go to Clark Summit, PA, East Stroudsburg, PA.
Down 81.
Yeah, and then we go into stay a day in New Jersey and in Clinton, New Jersey, and then we'll back at Quaker Bridge Mall July 18th at 4 o'clock. So
We're happy landings. And
well,
God
thank
bless.
you so
And
much
Yeah,
for
best-
having us
best of
and
luck, on your
to
trip.
spread the good word.
Give an anchor to a kid. Give some money to Anchor House, or get on your bike next year. And
Yeah,
ride.
we welcome you,
Thank you.
please.
Thank you very much.
Sure, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. That's the Mighty Quinn.
Good luck with the rest of Megathon.
No,
We'll be watching.
Thank you, and we'll see you.